You did it, Sony. You did it. You fixed the two main issues with this TV. Yes, it still has some green push and Dolby Vision, but let me go ahead and go through the whole video of everything I shot. This is just to open up and say they did it, and that's great. That's what I wanted from the start. I wanted to see Sony do it. It's very surprising they did it so quickly, and we're going to give them an applause for that. So enjoy this whole start to finish of all the testing, and I'll catch up with you on the end. Alright, yes, there was an update that came out after I had returned the X90J that is supposed to fix the Judder. So I went and bought a brand new one to test, and I am just currently showing that this is still sealed. It is a brand new one, and before I apply the update, I'm going to do complete retest of the one that I had before. There have been some comments trying to say that the panel was defective and whatever, but they wouldn't release an update to fix something if it was a defective individual unit. Anyway, so as you can see, it's still sealed. And just a little odd thing that I've found that I want to point out. There is tape here, but it's literally only on that part. It doesn't come down here. It doesn't tape anything down. I just thought that was kind of funny. It's like, what's the point of the tape there? The last one had the same thing. So, anyway, let me get this unboxed. I'm going to retest against the X90H and the C1 again, checking for the Judder, the green tint in Dolby Vision, and high input lag. Then apply the update and retest yet again. Alright, I've switched to the SLR Magic 8mm lens. It's wider, has f4 aperture, and adjusted a few settings to try and get the camera to show this better than previously. The Sony TV is out of the box settings, and I will show that in a second. All I've done is go through the initial setup and then went straight into Justice League with Dolby Vision enabled, and the X90J still has a green lean. The camera still makes the C1 look a little bit more blue than it actually does, but it's this lens seems a little better. So let me hit play here. Now if you just buy the X90J and you look at it out of the box like this, you probably won't notice that it's off. You have to have it next to something else to notice that these whites are not white. And again, the camera still makes the C1 look bluer. Actually, you know what, let me see if I disable the blue light or lower the blue light on the C1, if that helps. Yeah, reduce blue light. Alright, so with the reduced blue light on the C1, the camera looks a little more like what I'm seeing, but it's still not as white. But the X90J really does have that green tinge. And again, this is just out of the box settings. It defaults, this is what Dolby Vision defaults to on the X90J. And you gotta remember, most people are not going to get a Kalman professional calibration done. Really, most people just don't mess with settings at all, and this is what they're gonna see. So let me see if I can move this closer to the Sony and go through the settings with you. And I'm going to have to pause this or I'm going to get a copyright strike or claim or whatever. The remote. And this lens is a manual lens only, so I might have to tinker with the sharpness or adjustments here. There we go. Settings. First, the only thing that I had to do for Dolby Vision was go in here to the HDMI signal format. Let me try getting a little closer. And adjusting HDMI 3, which is what I'm using, to Dolby Vision. So that is the only change that's been done. And actually, let me also show that I have not updated it yet. It is still on the original firmware. Let's see if I can get close enough without changing lens here. Alright. So now, back to the settings. Let's see what Dolby Vision defaults to. So Dolby Vision bright. I will say it is nice that Sony added that quick option to get to your picture settings. Trying to get this camera right. Okay. So it defaults to the stuff being on. The light sensor says on, but the auto luminance and tone curve is off. Defaults to max brightness, max contrast, gamma at 0, HDR tone mapping off, black level 50, off, medium local dimming, high peak luminance, color 50, expert 1, clarity 50, sharpness, reality creation 20, reductions are off, smooth gradation low, motion settings, custom 1.1, Cinemotion high, video signals auto, and then all this of course is basic. So what I'm going to do now is go through and change some of this around and just show you if I reset, restore default, it's still all the same, nothing's been changed because I haven't touched any of it. Alright, so I'm going to leave brightness and contrast on max because it's Dolby Vision. I'm going to, these are off. Let me just see if I see anything. Nope. Alright, so light sensor off. HDR tone mapping. If I switch to gradation, it does not do anything to the color. All it does is just change the overall brightness of the image. If I go to brightness preferred, same thing. Color tone is the same, it just gets brighter. Seems to push out shadow detail a little bit more with brightness preferred. Black level, just keep it at 50. Black adjust off. Contrast enhancer off. Auto local dimming medium. Peak luminance high. Color 50. Expert 1. So reality creation, this I'm going to turn off. Smooth gradation, it's an optional thing. If there's banding, it covers it up, but if there's not, then it can lower the sharpness of some fine detail. So, and then motion flow, I don't like soap opera effect or anything. Just turn that off. Turn Cinemotion off. And that's it. So I haven't done anything to any color adjustments. Nothing is affecting the color. I'm going to pull you back. I have to adjust the lens a little bit again. Right there. You go back to here. So again, this is just how Dolby Vision on the X90J sets the color out of the box. Sure, you can do a Kalman calibration and probably fix this, but again, most people aren't going to do that. They're not going to pay the extra money for that. So we will check this again after the update to see if there's any changes to the color with the update. Alright, and now I'm going to go switch over to testing for the judder and input lag, and I will be back. Alright, and now here we are to test the judder. The Sony X90J does not have the new update still. This is again just to compare to the last one that I had. Settings, it's in game mode. All of this is just default game mode HDR settings. The only thing I've done is turn off the reality creation, doesn't matter. Motion, defaults with motion flow off. Cinemotion is grayed out. And then on the LG, we are in Game Optimizer mode. And now looking for Judder, and it's immediately obvious. And again, I'm using the word Judder just because that's a descriptive word that people know. It really looks like the TV is just dropping frames. No, it's not the game because the signal is being split to both, and you would be seeing it on the C1, or when I did it on the X90H, it would show there, but it doesn't because it's not the game, it is the TV. Software update, what's new in this update? It just says minor update that improves TV performance. It is firmware version 6.3629. Alright, so now this will take however long, and then I will retest everything again and be right back. Alright, the update has been applied and the television has been reset. 3629. Alright, and still in game mode. Motion settings still off. The LG. Game Optimizer. And yes, immediately you can notice that the judder or frame skipping is now fixed with the update. Alright, so now I'm going to check the input lag. Still in Game Optimizer on the LG. Still in game mode on the Sony. Start this. Just gonna grab my phone real quick and take a picture and see this on the fly. Alright, so it seems the update did lower the input lag, as every time I pause it, the clock is reading the same on both. So that's another plus for this update. And now we go back to Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision Bright. And the LG. Cinema Home, Dolby Vision. And this looks the same. There. The white balance is still just a little too green on the Sony. Doesn't seem like the update affected anything with the Dolby Vision. Alright, so before I finish up, here's just SDR gaming. Went through and used the Xbox settings for both. And I have the backlight brightness on the Sony turned down to 15 to try and have a even luminance level here with the C1 so that the camera shows the differences in color and stuff better. Contrast 98, gamma -2, black level 51. Color at 52, expert 1, and all the clarity and motion stuff turned off. And then on the LG, game optimizer, all the settings I've shown before. This is full OLED backlight brightness, contrast 96, screen brightness 58, gamma 2.2. That's about as bright as I can get the SDR on the C1. Color, I've switched over to auto and have the color depth at 60, tint at red 3. That's a lot of changes, but it's the only way to get the pattern blue. And then all the clarity stuff turned off. So, looking in the viewer of the camera, it seems pretty close to what I'm seeing. Obviously there's still going to be some difference, but you can see in the sky it's a little bit more teal or aqua on the Sony. Although I will say the yellow around the play looks brighter and more yellow on the Sony. That's about the only thing that looks better there. Everything else still looks better on the C1. So overall, with the update, them fixing the stuff for gaming does change that if you want a gaming TV, then it can be recommended if you don't want OLED for the burn-in risk. But if you're looking for movie watching, then you might want to look at something else with Dolby Vision, unless they bring out an update to fix the out-of-the-box Dolby Vision colors. Or if you're going to do a Kalman calibration, then that doesn't matter. So, let's see. But there's no more Judder. Alright, that should do it. Again, that fixed enough that if you don't want OLED, there's really nothing else that'll do 4K 120 Hz without issues, and then also offers Dolby Vision for movie viewing, even though, like I said, they should fix the color on it, but other than that, it seems pretty good. I mean, the snow, this isn't Dolby Vision, and even here, the snow doesn't look white on the X90J, but again, if you can get that out with a Kalman calibration, or if an update fixes that, then that's alright. And if you're not comparing it directly side by side to something else, you probably wouldn't notice the difference that much. I add this here at the end just to show that it can look really good as well. The OLED still has better blacks and contrast and so on, but if you don't want OLED, you want a gaming TV, you can now give this a strong consideration. So that's that. Again, good job Sony for bringing this out so quickly, and have a good one.